Good evening and salutations, my Days of Alliance fans. I don't really understand why Paulina keeps threatening to fire EJ. She's like, if Stefan testifies against him, I'm not going to have a choice to fire you. But EJ already said that it's my word versus his. There's no actual proof. So even if you do fight, even if you do pretty much fire me, you're going to look like a fool. Because you're firing me pretty much without cause. And of course, he does bring back up the whole, if you fire me, I'll sit there and get the concerned citizens of Salem to, do a recount and pretty much get you fired. She's like, I'm gonna replace you with Melinda, but no one's heard of Melinda in a couple of days at this point. I mean, can we just all have a good collective laugh at the fact that Roman was able to walk inside the Damaris place like there's no security, there's no butlers, there's nobody, right? I'm telling you, if I was AJ, I would have got a whole new staff. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous at this point. How do you just and granted, this isn't the first time that this happened. I remember when Abby got killed. Right after, I think somebody just walked on in without knocking or anything like that. I'm like, so there's no security whatsoever. I don't understand that. It's like maybe they don't have the budget to get extras or whatever, but this is absolutely this is why budgets matter. This is exactly why budgets matter, because you have so many of these people in all these different shows, damn near all, I think almost all four of them at one point, if you're not living in an apartment, well, most people don't live in an apartment, they live in hotels. And it's like in this show, even today, Roman's just walking around like, hello, Gabby, where are you? And I'm like, there's no maids or anything like that. Like, yo, what else is this dude just walking on in? But speaking of Gabby and Connie, Gabby is allowing Connie to talk. Being like, oh, I'm very impressed by, just how crazy this elaborate plan was. Given that, I've done my fair of scheming and plotting and stuff like that back in my day. And still now, whatever. But while Connie's sitting there talking, she's trying to phone Stefan. She doesn't really have a lot of friends, so I'm just like, I guess that makes sense, even though she was sitting there throwing in Stefan's face. Oh yeah, I just sat there and just banged your brother again. Like, why the hell would he sit there and answer the phone? But again, could have called Jada. Could have called Jada. I mean, hell, your brother and Jada are sitting there, together. Why didn't you just sit there and call Jada? Anyway, she tries to sit there and call Stefan. Stefan looks at the phone. He's like, yeah, I don't care. Stefan is busy hiring Ava back. And Ava thought about it for a hot minute, mostly because she wants to sit there and be worried about Gabby's reaction. And not so much a Gabby reaction. Because at first I was like, why are you so shook at Gabby at this point? What she's shook of is being out of a job again. Because she's like, eventually y'all two are going to get back together. Regardless of what you're sitting there saying, y'all two are going to get back together and I'm going to be out in the cold again. So part of me is like, well, if you know that, then why are you, Just like with Kristen. Here's the thing. If it wasn't for Gabby, getting Ava fired, it would have been for another reason. Working with Kristen is just never a good idea. Anyway, she finds out that it was Connie that killed Lee. Which, as I said in my last review, this comes across as a really sad Lifetime movie theme. The difference is, as bad as some of those movies are, the plot is set up a lot better. which is a shame because we seen Connie in the beginning, and hell, she she sits there and does nothing but blame everybody else. Oh, it was your fault. You're the one that sat there and broke him. It was Melinda's fault. It was Stefan's fault. And I'm just like, so it wasn't a lack of dieting and good cardio? That wasn't your fault, right? That didn't have anything to do with the fact that he didn't pick you. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Anyway, they start fighting, and there's a point where Gabby gets the upper hand. But then she runs away for some odd reason when you have Connie on the ground. Again, Roman gets in there, and at this point, I'm like, what happened? I'm like, how did Connie sit there and get the best of you at this point? Like, I don't understand that. Listen, I'm not saying that like Gabby's supposed to be this badass fighter or whatever, but I'm like, you're dealing with somebody who, you know what? I think I've told enough fat jokes for this video. Anyway, somehow she gets the best of her and finds out. She puts her and Melinda in the secret tunnels. Now, how does she know about the secret tunnels? No idea. Not explained. But it's really odd. So, let me get this straight. Connie knows about the secret tunnels, but Roman didn't sit there and think about looking down there when he was there. And Roman's been on the show way longer than Connie. Anyway, okay, here's something else about this episode. So, it's 34 minutes long, and I've seen stuff on YouTube. They call it left on the cutting floor. It's usually a bunch of scenes that they decide not to put in the episode. And some people always sit and argue, oh, you should have left it in there, you should have left it in there. But there's reasons why they didn't leave certain stuff in this episode. And when Paulina goes to the house, this is after Jada was there, that cop was there, and they're looking around, and they see the Lee Shin poster or cardboard cutout in her bed. There's a point where Paulina gets there with the officer, and she's looking around, and they're talking and everything like that, and I'm just like, this was not necessary in this episode. It really was not. And you can tell that they put this episode specifically, they put this stuff in there specifically just to try to get to 34 something minutes. And I'm like, this is unnecessary. It served no... If you can tell me a reason of why they decided to put this in there, and I mean like a good reason, I'm going to actually sit there and try to look at my comment sections, because they could have just talked about it. Like, it wasn't necessary to sit there and show the actual scene. So I felt like that was a little kind of unnecessary to put in there. So while Ava and Stefan are sitting there drinking champagne at probably like 12 in the afternoon, EJ comes there. And EJ's like, oh, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. You thought I was going to be arrested for you ratting me out about the whole Sloan thing. And at one point, he pretty much kind of comes at him like, oh, I see you're trying to get revenge, and that's why you're doing it. I was like, bro, you slept with his wife. Why are you sitting there, like, you're walking up there acting mad surprised, or you're like, why would you do this to me? Now, Stefan also said this when he was at the pub. He was like, yeah, this is unforgivable. She slept with my brother more than once. I was like, what's the difference if it's once, twice, or 3 times? You slept with Ava. Let's not sit there and act like my whole thing at the end of the day, you slept with somebody else. I don't care if the fact that she slept with EJ or if she slept with John Doe down the street. She slept with somebody other than you. That should be enough right there. Granted, she specifically did that. She specifically did that to hurt him. But when Stefan was like, well, she slept with him more than once. I'm like, the amount of time should not be an issue. Like, I don't understand that. But anyway, he brought it back up again, and EJ, after this drawn out flashback, which was really not necessary, he realized that she lied about it. Because he said to him, he was like, "Yo, listen, I didn't sleep with her again." Stefan wants to sit there and try to make that a sticking point. Like, the fact that it happened more than once is like enough to be done with her. So she has both of them down there, tied up and everything. And at one point, Melinda was like, "Why don't you just sit there and kill me when you had the chance?" And Connie's like, "Well, I figure, taking you both out here would just be more efficient." I was like, no, it really wouldn't be. Because she's talking about how her place is hot or whatever, and she couldn't do it. She could have did it there. Okay? She really could have did it there. There's no reason why she couldn't just sit there and kill off. Also, you had the chance to sit there and kill Gabby there instead of dragging her downstairs. Because at the end of the day, she practically says that she's going to blow up the mansion. And I'm like, okay, but you know that the police is on to you. So why are you deciding to kill them both there? Like, this doesn't do anything. Like, here's the thing, even if she gets away with it, she's going to be on the run for the rest of her life. People are already on to her. Like, Jada and Rafe and even Rome have practically all know, or in some ways know, that it was Connie that, killed Everett and, set him up to be the fall guy. So it's like the wall's already closing in. You could have took them both out already, but now you decide to drag them both down to the secret room that you're not even supposed to know about to blow them up. Like, this is... I know that I missed a golden age of Days of Our Lives years ago, and I can accept that because, well, I was watching One Life to Live in Port Charles at the time. Those shows was just like peak when I watched them. So unfortunately, it's like, only saving grace, I'm going to sit there and say again, is that hopefully after this week, this Connie nonsense is over and we can just move on from there. I know people aren't happy with the whole body and soul thing or whatever, and I get that. But compared to this cartoonish BS that you got going on with Connie and her annoying ass voice, listen, no offense to the actress, but like, none of this is working. And I'm getting tired. You ever just got so tired to the point when you complain about something, you get tired of hearing your own voice? Complaining about the same thing? Imagine that 5 days a week. So, yes, I definitely want and need this to be over. Now, I might have left out some stuff here and there, but that is the general gist of the episode. Also, I'm thinking about doing something new. Because as much as I love doing all 4 of the soap operas, and I really do, I'm thinking about maybe members having the members vote on what other soap opera that I'm going to be covering for the week. And maybe just going back to just 2 reviews, because just a couple of different reasons. Mostly because of time. And I don't like rushing stuff. I don't like rushing reviews. I love to sit there and take my time and really kind of, not just get my points across, but really kind of expand on that stuff. And trying to do 4 as much as I would love to do, I'm not at a point where I can do YouTube as a full-time job, as a full-time schedule. So 2 is pretty much kind of the max that I can do. And plus, there's other times when I may want to do an entirely different video. And trying to do 5 videos and just put out 5, it's just... Plus, I'm going to be honest, I do feel like the more videos I put out, the less views I get. I don't understand why. Maybe it has something to do with notifications. But either way, that's what I'm sitting there thinking about doing. It's just doing, voting for members and just having them be like, okay, I want you to review Dave's, I want you to review B&B or Y&R. So, just in the works. Anyway, if I forgot anything, write in the comment section, or better yet, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll talk about all the shows, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.